We're used to hearing his voice every week, narrating our favorite show. But what does it sound like when the voice actor behind the beloved character isn't feeling well? Let's find out! Hello everyone, and welcome back to another reaction video. Today we'll be reacting to I Have a Cold. Before we start, please subscribe so you won't miss any future videos. And now let's meet our voice actor. His real name is not important to this story. He will be referred to as VA for voice actor throughout this video. The voice actor was enjoying his time off. For weeks he had been working tirelessly on a new dub, putting in long hours to ensure the project would be completed as soon as possible. Now that it was finally over, he could relax and spend some time on his own projects. As a reward, he decided to treat himself to a night of takeout and video games. After ordering his food, he settled in for the night, but he couldn't help but feel a little under the weather. He figured it was just stress from work and pushed it out of his mind. After all, he had a big day tomorrow. He just needed to rest up and recharge. So he played some games, ate some dinner, and went to bed early, hoping to wake up feeling refreshed and ready to tackle the next day. When morning came, the voice actor woke up feeling worse than he did the day before. His head was pounded and his throat was sore. It was clear that he was coming down with something. However, he couldn't afford to take the day off. He had a session booked at the studio, and there was no way he was going to reschedule it. With a sigh, the voice actor got out of bed and started to get ready for the day. He knew it was going to be tough, but he had to push through. There was no other option. At the studio, the voice actor tried his best to power through the session, but it was nearly impossible. Every line he read felt like a strain, and he could feel his voice getting weaker with each word. Normally, he could ad-lib and improvise for hours, but this time, he could barely string a sentence together. After the session, the voice actor went home and went straight to bed. He felt awful and all he wanted to do was sleep. But he couldn't even sleep. His body was aching and he could hear his own breathing in his ears. Every cough and sneeze echoed in a silent room, and each one reminded him of how sick he was. The voice actor tossed and turned in his bed, trying to find a comfortable position. But nothing seemed to help. The more he struggled, the worse he felt, and the less he wanted to get out of bed. But he knew he had to get up. He had another session tomorrow, and he couldn't let his illness win. The next day at the studio, the voice actor tried his best to hide his illness. But it was clear to everyone that he wasn't feeling well. His voice was hoarse, and he could barely keep his eyes open during the session. But despite his illness, the voice actor pressed on. He knew he had to finish the job no matter how difficult it was. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the session was over. The voice actor collapsed in his chair and let out a shaky breath. He was done. He had made it through the worst of it, and now he could finally rest. Once he got home, the voice actor went straight to bed and slept for hours. When he finally woke up, he felt much better. His head was still a little sore, and his voice was still hoarse, but it was better. He forced himself to get out of bed and start his day as normal, but he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. Every time he turned around, he thought he saw someone in the shadows, but when he turned back, there was nothing there. He tried to ignore it and went about his day. But the feeling only got worse. The voice actor started to feel uneasy, and he couldn't focus on anything else but the feeling that he was being watched. He tried to tell himself that it was all in his head, but he couldn't help but feel that something was out there watching him. Later that day, the voice actor was scheduled to have another session at the studio, but he couldn't bring himself to go. He knew he had to finish the job, but he was too scared to go alone. The voice actor tried calling a friend to come with him, but he was met with a busy signal. The voice actor tried again, but the result was the same. He was beginning to panic, but he knew he had to stay calm. He took a deep breath and tried to relax. Then he heard it, a knock on the door. The voice actor froze. Was it the person he had seen in the shadows? Was he being stalked? He didn't want to find out. The voice actor hid under his blanket and pulled the covers over his head. Then he heard it again. Another knock on the door. This time, it was louder. The voice actor peeked out from under the blanket and looked around. He couldn't see anyone, but he could hear the knocking getting louder. The voice actor was terrified. What was out there? Who was it? He wanted to scream, but he couldn't. He was too scared. Then the knocking stopped. The voice actor held his breath and waited. Then he heard it again, this time right outside his door. The voice actor screamed and buried his head in his blanket. The knocking got louder and the voice actor squeezed his eyes shut. Then everything went black. When the voice actor came to, he was lying on the floor. He looked around and saw that he was in the studio. He sat up and realized that he had passed out. But then he heard it. A familiar voice was coming from the speakers. It was the voice of his character. The voice actor listened as his character spoke, unaware that the voice actor was listening in the shadows. The voice actor was shocked. He had no idea how he got to the studio or how his character's voice was playing. Was this a dream? He rubbed his eyes and tried to clear his head. Then he remembered. He had taken on a new dub and had been working long hours. Then he had gotten sick and had to take a break. But now he was here. In the studio, the voice actor stood up and walked towards the speakers. As he got closer, he could hear his character's voice more clearly. It was coming from the control room. The voice actor opened the door and stepped inside. He looked around and saw that the control room was empty. The voice actor was confused, but he couldn't help but feel a sense of relief. It wasn't a dream. He was really here. But then he heard it again. The voice of his character was coming from the speakers in the control room. The voice actor looked around and saw that there was another door. He opened it and stepped through. He found himself in a small, dark room with a single speaker in the corner. The voice of his character was coming from the speaker, but there was no one in the room. The voice actor was scared, but he couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder. Was this real? Was his character alive? He reached out and touched the speaker. Then he heard it. A familiar voice whispered in his ear, "You found me." The voice actor jumped and turned around, but there was no one there. Then he heard it again. "You found me." This time, the voice was right behind him. The voice actor turned around and saw his character standing in the shadows. The voice actor was this real or was he still dreaming? His character stepped out of the shadows and walked towards him. "I've been waiting for you," his character said. The voice actor was speechless. All he could do was stare as his character approached him. Then his character reached out and touched his shoulder. "It's time to come home," he said. The voice actor nodded, not trusting himself to speak. He knew that he had to do this. He had to bring his character home. The voice actor has returned home, but something is not right. His character is missing, and he can't understand why. He feels a sense of responsibility to find his character and bring him home, but he doesn't know where to start. Will the voice actor be able to find his character and put him back in the show? Or will he be forever lost? We don't know. Thank you for watching this video. Please leave a comment below with your thoughts. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. Subscribe for more content. See you next time.